Good evening, folks. I hope everyone is having an awesome Wednesday. And it is officially hump day. We're halfway through the week. It wasn't such a rough week because we did have a holiday on Monday. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been confused all week trying to figure out what day it is. It's bad enough we're in a pandemic, right? So trying to keep up with the days have been rough this year. But I hope you guys have had a great day. And we're going to go ahead and get right on into it. First, I'd like to introduce my production manager, Kristen Brown. And Kristen will be responding to all your questions and comments today because, folks, we are having our t shirt giveaway. Today is the day. It's here. Secondly, I would like to thank all my sponsors. So let's go ahead and get right on into that. All right. First, we have Krakatoa Coffee Company. We have Vurchoo Apparel. Big Ted's House of Drums, Bye Bye Belly, Paw Alkaline Water, Upstate Graphics and Imaging, Crab to Go, Custom Creations by Lesley. All right, so I'm super excited to invite our special guest on today. Today we have Charles Hedgepath. But before I bring him on, let me go over some very detailed information about his career and his background. Now, Charles is very, very, very humble with his bio, but that's okay because I got plenty of questions for him to help you guys get all those questions answered. He's super humble with it. But Charles Hedgepath is a singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist. Based in the upstate of South Carolina. Charles Hedgepath has spent the last 2 decades playing and recording in the southeastern United States and beyond. Viewers, please help me welcome Charles Hedgepath to the show with plenty of hearts and plenty of likes. Hello.
Hey, Jamie. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so very much for coming on the show. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you great. I know you've had a busy day today, so I appreciate you taking time to do this.
No, anytime for you, Jamie. This is great. I love what you've done. This is a cool thing you got going on.
Most definitely, thank you. I'm just trying to do something to help keep everybody occupied and, of course, educated here in the community. So
Yeah.
hopefully
No.
people appreciate it and have a good time watching.
Yeah. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Most definitely. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump right on into it because I have quite a few questions for you today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So the first question I have for you, Charles, is what made you decide to start your career in music?
I started pretty young playing. I had older sisters that played piano, and then I stopped playing piano. But around 13, I started playing guitar, and then about around 15, I got a gig with my calculus teacher and started playing at my school. And so you give a 15-year-old some money for playing guitar, then what else are they going to do? So by the time I got to college, I was already playing professionally on some level, not to the point I am now, but I'd already started down that road early.
Right. Well, first, I didn't know you had sisters. And second, I didn't know they were musicians.
Yeah. Well, they don't play any, but they had a big effect on me because I just wanted to do whatever they were doing.
Right.
So if they took piano lessons, then I was going to take piano lessons.
Right. So I'm gonna take it that these are your older sisters. Okay. Normally that's how it goes. The older sibling is influencing the younger sibling.
Yeah.
Of course, the parents stay on the older siblings because of that reason. They're like, you better be a good influence on your brother or your sister.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So let me move on to my next question. As a musician, are there ways that you're supporting the community? For instance, are you working with children outside of school, or any type of facility? Are you working with the elderly or volunteering to work in any type of particular groups or charities right now?
Yeah, so there's a few. One of the things, and obviously, COVID has disrupted a lot of things, but Soldier Songs and Voices helped start a chapter here and that helps veterans deal with some post-war trauma, through songwriting. And so we get together and we talk about writing, we talk about different things, and if somebody wants to learn how to play guitar, they can come in there. So um, we've been keeping up via Skype, but normally we get together once a month at Smiley's. And there's the Upstate Splash. I help do some music events there, and been working with them for a while, and they help basically try to educate young children and adults about water safety and swimming.
Oh, awesome.
So providing lessons, and then Marcus King and I we're in the midst of starting our own organization called the Curfew Foundation, which is going to be a support system for musicians and music professionals, people that work in the industry.
Okay.
Nice.
That is awesome. And we
Yeah.
definitely need support right now, dude. That is for sure. But not just now, but I want to, we'll talk about this more, but Charles, you're being a big advocate here in the upstate for trying to keep music going. As long as I've known you, that's what I've always known about you. You're always moving forward and forward thinking, trying to keep something going, not just for yourself. One a person can be very it's easy to be, I won't use the word selfish, because I guess people sometimes get a tunnel vision. They're like, this is my band and I got to keep my band doing what they got to do. But you've always been thought of ideas and things you could create to help other people. It's almost like just truly a selfless person. Like sometimes helping other people more than you help your own self.
Well,
Like,
I think that the more you collaborate, the more opportunities it brings you, because it's like I have you come play with me, and then if you run into a situation where you need me, you call me.
right.
So it's like people need to start thinking about that way. It's like if they do more for other people and create opportunities for other people, then those people are going to turn around and create opportunities for you when they can. And most people do. I mean, there's always stories of people not, but then that's always going to happen. But most people are like, you know what, that guy gave me a gig, I'm gonna give him a call.
Right. And that's the right thing to do. But I also feel like you don't have, even though that is the right way to think, but I think you don't even have. Sometimes I observed you more than you realize, probably. But I've noticed that even then, sometimes you're just kind of like, yeah, let's just go ahead and help them or get them, not with the intent. And that's always the time when you get the best return on your investment in helping other people, when you don't have the mind thought process of, oh, let me get something back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like that is really I think it's a matter of, of course you got to work and you got to get out here and book gigs.
Right.
There's been times where I've seen you say, oh, you guys just keep that and I'm good. So I think that is one reason why people contact you and look up to you in the area, and just have the level of respect they have for you, because you're always looking out for other people in a very selfish way. So I just want to tell you that I have observed that.
Well, I appreciate it, and that means a lot. And that's not necessarily the reputation that music always gets. It used to be story. People growing up, and people trying to cut each other and stuff like that in jam sessions. And I think that the more opposite approach is a better approach for everybody.
Right. I would see the word, a movie I watched, the word they used was chopping heads. that was
Yeah.
the terminology they used, and you're right. It was kind of always like me, my foe, and no more, basically. So you're exactly right. So that is the energy we definitely need now. People do need to come together and work together and think about the next man, their fellow brother or sister, not just thinking about themselves. Good, good. So let's keep going. um, so what did you personally do to prepare for your future as a musician during this pandemic? And let me just kind of reiterate on that. Basically, once it happened, what did you start to do? Did you start to say, oh, I gotta, because I mean, I saw online, you had some things that you were still doing and trying to stay, everybody was trying to salvage everything they could. It was kind of like, wait a minute. give me my gig back, you know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think, the easiest thing to do, the first thing to do was to try to teach online lessons,
Right.
and then we released the Shady Recruits album because we had that and was like, well, we might as well release it now, since we're not going to be able to play, so we can talk about that. And then, now that I am a partner in a label and a distribution company, I learned more about that. So with the stuff with Solaris Entertainment, which led to the National Lampoon stuff that I'm involved with as well. So, I just try to do, anything that's possible, since the live venue stuff was taken away. This kind of reminds me of a little bit of what happened during the recession, because the work was playing up until that happened, and then gas went up to 450, and people didn't
Right.
have any money for bands, and so now it's like yourself with solos and duos, and that kind of mindset. So you just gotta go lean
Right.
and do it. And some of those singing telegrams that you've done, some of those,
Yes.
some of those that come through. Green will singing telegrams. You can go ahead and get one if you want to. Go check it
Right.
out.
We'll show up at your house, at the job, wherever you want us to show up.
But yeah, so it's you have to be creative in times like this, and it's hard, but it's definitely that was the I was so thankful to play again and to be around people, and so it did at least give me a greater appreciation, of that feeling again.
Well, good. That's awesome, and that's a great plan to come to. And that's why I want to reiterate too that having that mindset, you always want to think in life, not just for musicians. I mean, this is something I've learned my own self. My dad used to always say you want to have a raincoat in case it rains. So you always
Yeah,
want to have it. I think that was, and I don't remember if that's quite how he said it, but it was something about a rain jacket and
yeah.
rain.
Well, no, that makes perfect sense.
So who would have ever thought we'd be going through what we're going through now? But you always want to have some ducks in a row, something going on, staying active. I think a lot of people's mindset or will definitely change now moving forward as musicians. I think people will think, be a little bit more proactive as far as being creative and thinking about other things because, even outside of a pandemic, you just never know. Like you said, this like during the recession, it's not like this, it's not happened before, so you do have to prepare for try to have something going on and some other type of outlet as well. So
And so, one of the things I've always stressed to people just as musicians is like the more diverse that you are in your catalog and all the different genres you can play, and maybe even multiple instruments, the more chances that it is for you to get work and to do things, and a lot of different situations, whether it's playing live, playing in church, or doing something at the studio.
right. All right, let's see here. We're going to take a quick moment. We are at now, Charles. We got a lot going on today. We're going to be giving away T-shirts in
Uh
amongst.
oh.
So we have a couple of our sponsors have sent in T-shirts, and I'm sponsoring my own self, so I have T-shirt as well. So folks, we are going to start putting our tees up here. We got some trivia for you. So let's go here. All right. So Kristen, we are going to do question number 2. Wait, no, not question number 2. We're gonna do question number we're gonna do question number 5. All right, folks. And for question number 5, I'm gonna go ahead and put my T-shirt up first, so I can put myself on the chopping block. So this is you will literally be getting this T-shirt because this is the last of the Mohegans. This is the last T-shirt I have in this pink color with the Jamie Wright band logo on the front, and of course the website on the back. And folks, this is a extra large. So if you answer the question that I asked here on live, and then Kristen will be putting the questions in the comments, and make sure you're on the right page too, because we had some folks last time that was like, I'm here, but they were on the wrong page. So guys, make sure you mosey on over to my personal page, which is Jamie Wright. So let me ask you guys these questions, and Chris is gonna be monitoring the comments to see who gets their answer in the fastest. So the question is, who never? Now this is a different question. Who never was a member of the What is that? Velveteens. I didn't even know this. This is different for me. I said Velveteens. Who never was a member of the Velvelettes? That's Velvelettes. VELVELETTES. All right. So Kristen has an answer to that. She's gonna be checking to see who knows the answer and who's up on top of their Motown. Y'all better be quick with the Motown, because that's what we're gonna be. Our questions are Motown based. All right, so let's get back into this interview. And Charles, if you know any of these answers, you can.
I was gonna say, yeah. That's awesome.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump into my next question. So this is a very important question to me, and we just kind of touched base on it just now when we were talking. But it's very important, and I've asked several people on the show this question. But how do you feel our current situation in this country has affected the entertainment industry? And do you feel it will ever be the same?
I mean, obviously, it's been devastating, and I think that I played a couple of venues last concerts, or some of their last concerts. There's a place in Chattanooga we played that closed down like right after we played, and it was tied to a museum. So they were, I'm worried about the Smiley's acoustic cafes of the world. Like, I'm lucky enough to play there every Tuesday. So a place like that, it's an independent bar. It can only be open at 50% capacity, and it's got to shut down at 11 o'clock. Right. And so those are some real uphill battles that, independent music venues are all across the nation are having to deal with. As far as the larger corporations, I think some of the ones that were maybe on the other side that are taking advantage of the industry and some of the relationships they have, like hopefully they'll learn from it and they'll trim some of that fat and make concerts more accessible to more people.
Right.
But in the positive world of things, I think that most things are now going to be multi-dimensional. I don't think you'll just go see a band anymore. I think there'll be some more interactive with social media, maybe art shows or different things going on outside of just performer to audience.
Right.
So I'll be looking forward to seeing what people will do with that.
Right. I agree with you. There's definitely going to be a rebuilding process. I think I've been talking to different people here in the Upstate over the last couple of days, just different conversations that I've had with other musicians, because we just happened to be talking about something else that was going on. And people are starting to see a little, some movement and things where people are starting to see their schedule. It may not be where it was at, but they're starting to see some movement. It's not like you got like 8 weeks and you're just sitting there staring at the wall. And then it's like, oh, I got to get it, So
yeah.
People are starting to see some movement, but I do agree with you 100%. It's going to be a rebuilding process, and there's going to have to be kind of like, it's unfortunate because music has saved so many people. And what I mean by that is, if you think about everything that's happened in this world, there was a musical soundtrack going on during that time, but it's sad that we have to rebuild music when it's always here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think that people can take it for granted, and now that you can stream something so easily and everything's so cheap, and it takes a lot to craft a song, but you can sell a really a stupid app for the same amount as a song. Right. Like a lighter app or something like that, but you can, download the most beautiful song for the same amount. So I think as a society, we need to get, better about how we value music and how we value musicians. And I think that through the pandemic, when we, couldn't watch sports and everything, it was people playing online that really pulled everybody through,
Right.
you know. And I think it was music, and it was the one thing that could be done. And so I don't want people to forget, about that part of it.
Right. Most definitely. So we know we all know it's set before us, and we know what we got to do to
Yeah,
get what we need to get. But and it just like you said, it just goes back to working together. One hand washing the other, so to speak. So I think that I hope that by at least by the first of the year we can see some major growth and things going back to normal, and whatever normal may be for somebody else.
yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I think that it's looking like things. Now, I would feel, and some of the things that I've been seeing about people booking, it's like March and beyond, and there's some music festivals that are booking and doing things in September of 2021, and in the July of 2021.
right.
Because they're thinking by that time that it's going to be a lot closer to figuring out where we are and how to deal with this.
Right. Most definitely. Was great. Charles, this is my time where I have to do a sponsorship plug. So I'm gonna take
Okay.
care, as they say, I'm gonna do the laundry, and we'll bring you right back. We're gonna pop up a little screen here, but we'll bring you right back on.
All right.
So, folks, today we have Bye Bye Belly, who is going to actually be one of our special guests this month as well. And there's no telling what she has up her sleeve, because she knows a lot about different products. So we're gonna. That's okay. So we'll make sure that we talk about all that stuff when she gets here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and read her bio right quick. So let's get on into it. So again, Bar Belly is open for business, and it's located right here in the upstate of South Carolina. They are available for all of your weight loss needs. So let's go over a few things they offer. Bye Belly products are all natural, organic, plant-based products, and that makes them unique and different. And the products actually produce results that people have been wanting and searching for. The results happen within a matter of days, not weeks or months or years, unlike other products on the market. So let's say bye bye. So let's say bye bye to those bellies. So I'm going to just go down a list of different products that Bye Bye Belly offers. There's one product for men. Yes, men, this product is for you. This is not just for us ladies, because we know we ain't the only one with guts out here now. So this is called the Gut Buster, and it's a pre-made weight loss juice. And ladies, of course, we have the Snatched Belly Fat Juice, always available for pre-order. And they offer the Detox Tea that's always available for pre-order as well. Now, I have not tried the unicorn juice, but I am very interested in that. And just to list a few flavors that she offers in the juice, she offers strawberry, pineapple, tropical punch, berry, blueberry lemonade. One of my favorites is the orange tangerine. So she has quite a few. And ooh, that's a new product, citrus and apple. I'm gonna have to try that one. But also in the tea flavors, she offers plain lemonade, black cherry, and my favorite that I just got last week, because I'm using Bye Bye Billy myself, is sweet tea. And y'all, I almost forgot. And I texted Tammy this, and I said, Tammy, I almost drunk up all my tea, forgetting that it was not that it was weight loss tea, because it was so good. And then when I say that, when you're doing weight loss stuff, a lot of times people think, oh, it doesn't taste good. No, this tea tastes good. This product, if it tastes good, it's a good product, guys. So and I again, most of the products that I'm on here talking about, I use them myself, or I've worn them, are somehow involved in the product. So I do use Bye Bye Belly, and just FYI, folks, I did lose 16 pounds on Bye Bye Belly, because that's after my COVID weight now. So my quarantine pounds. So it does work, and I've had great success with it. Um, Also, if you'd be interested in becoming a distributor, they offer that as well. And you can get in touch with Tammy Burton right here on Facebook. Tammy, thank you so very much for supporting us. We truly appreciate your partnership. And again, folks, that's Bye Bye Belly. And that's Tammy Burton right here on Facebook. She's one of our sponsors. So you can go into the link or go on this. Once this go locks in and airs, you'll be able to go in and pull up her actual page on the my page because she's tagged and all this. So make sure you go on her page and check out her products. And again, Tammy will be with us on the 23rd, I think. Let's check that and double check. Let's see. So I keep getting mixed up on my days. So it's either 23rd or 26th, but it's right there on the flyer that is on online. So all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get into our second segment, and we're doing great on time. And all right, so folks, at this time, if you have any questions for Charles, this will be a good time to start thinking of any questions that you might want to ask him. And also, let's give Charles some hearts and some likes, of course, for joining us today this evening. Make sure you're showing him some love. We always appreciate those hearts and likes flying up on the screen. It makes us feel good. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get into our second segment of the show, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go straight through these questions because this is my favorite part of the show because Charles, we're talking about your project. So
Awesome.
I am so proud to be somewhat a part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with my first.
You're a big part of it.
Oh, I listened to it I listened to it when you sent it to me, but I went back and listened to it last night, and I was like, "This is so cool." I'm going to ask you about this, so I don't want to spoil. I don't want to do a spoiler alert, as they say. So let me get focused on my questions, so I don't give up my questions by talking about it. So, what's your album about?
All right. So, Mementos, there is the Greenville Metropolitan Art Council. They have a grant system. And, I applied for this grant, and, the idea behind it was, songs that I learned or that, that affected me about my time in Greenville because, when I got to Furman, I started going to the Handlebar Bluegrass Jam. And at that point was when not only was I playing and learning bluegrass, but I was going to see Sonny Thornton and Keith Davis and Ian Burkita play at Audie's. So as all those things were happening at once, and so this I wanted to have something that represented more like Americana bluegrass side of things that I did, and so that's what this has become. So 6 of the songs are traditional. One's one that I wrote, and one is a song of Matt Reynolds, a good friend of mine.
Awesome. I think it's a awesome album. I really do. It's different, and I don't. And when I say that, I mean that in a good way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump down since this is our next question. So I'm gonna jump down to my third question, and then I'll go back. So what made you choose this genre? Because this question I've been wanting to ask you this for the longest. Even when we were recording the project, I was like, this is kind of different for Charles because I know that you. As long as I've known you've been part of like some jam bands and kind of like more acoustic. So was totally different. So when you sent me the music, I was like, is this for him or is this somebody else's project? And you didn't know my music, so.
So like that early 2000s, like that's when I had like a bluegrass band and was playing, at least once a week at the Handlebar Bluegrass Jam and a few gigs after that. So the acoustic and bluegrass side of my playing had always been there, but the work you maybe saw us do a couple of acoustic things, or like when I play by myself, I'm playing acoustic guitar, but there used to be a time where regularly playing with that kind of lineup of banjo, fiddle, and mandolin.
That's awesome. I'm laughing because of we just found out who our winner is.
Did I win?
T-shirt. Craig Sauls is our winner. Craig wins every time. He's winning every shirt. We're gonna go ahead and mail all the shirts to you, Craig. We're just gonna put them in the mail and send them to you.
Well, I'm glad Craig is tuning in. So there was a song I used to play mandolin in the work. That was something I would do from time to time. Okay.
Oh, cool! I didn't realize that. So this is awesome. This is before I met you, I guess. So that
yeah.
I love the show because you get to learn like I've known you for the time I've known you, but there's so much I don't know about you because there's a period of your life, and of course mine, where we didn't know each other. So this
Yeah,
is really
and
cool to have this conversation. So that explains why you know, this is not something new to you. It's just new to me that you were doing this.
right, and I just hadn't had a chance to document these songs this way, and I always wanted to do something that represented, like I have a Christmas album, I have a gospel album, and now I have, this bluegrass Americana. We call it like that.
Awesome. Now, and did you say you have a Christmas album?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I'm gonna check. Now, I love me some good Christmas music. Don't get
Oh,
me started about
so
that.
it's Jan Rico Scott on drums and Ike Stubblefield on organ. It's all instrumental.
Oh, I bet that's smoking. I'm gonna have to. Now, could I get on iTunes and hear
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All my stuff is out there on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, and all the other mentionable platforms.
The right way to do it, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go back to my question number two since I jumped down to the genre question. What I mean, you kind of giving me a little information about this, but what inspired the album and its title? Did you have a period of time where you walked away from this genre of music, or have you been doing it the whole time, or did you stop playing in a bluegrass band for some period of time?
I mean, I would say since I've been playing a long time, it's like yes to all those things, but I do play some of these songs, but by myself mostly. There's a one original tune that I kind of had almost forgotten about, and then the song of Matt. He's a friend that's passed away, so this is more like memories of things and stuff like that. So instead of calling it souvenirs, it was mementos or keepsakes. So all the songs have a meaning to me, because it's very interesting about that genre of music because you can't separate faith and family from it. So because there's songs about your mom, there's songs about going over yonder, those kind of universal appealing things, and so that's why these songs have always kind of stuck with me, and I just never had a chance to put them down.
Right. Awesome. Well, I think they're very well written songs. Like I enjoy working with you, and I think it just it's when people are go do something different or whatever it is that happens in our mind that tells us I want to do this or I want to do something different or I want to
Yeah,
try something outside of what I may be known for doing. When that happens, I think it's a good thing for the person that it happens to, but it's also good for people around them because it being part of our project, it exposed me to something different, different,
well, I,
different.
I love the way that you responded to the lyrics because some of them you're like, oh, that's cool. You know, and I was like, I think it was, and it's a cover. So I didn't write this one, and this was like it was like the Dark Hollows, the giveaway song. It was the blow your whistle, freight train, carry me farther on down the track. You're like, man, that's cool. I'm going away. I'm doing it. Yeah, So you got to hear some stuff and be a part of some stuff that you wouldn't normally be a part of.
That's right, and that's
And
what it's. And but that's what it is all about. But I liked how you were. I liked the storytelling of bluegrass music. That some of the what someone could say, oh, just go over there and walk across the room, but you can actually say that in a different way in bluegrass. Does that make sense? Like
yeah,
just what you just said.
yeah,
Like there's a whole nother meaning behind what you just said that you could have said it, but you said it in a way different where it's almost it opens your imagination up to thinking, oh wow, I can actually visualize that happening this way instead of it being so simplistic in this way.
I think some of the other there's two of the songs that are more than a century old.
Whoa, wow.
You know, so I love doing public domain stuff and taking and that's what that's a lot of what the Christmas album and the gospel album is.
Right.
Taking those things and kind of rearranging them or re-representing them.
Right. And I was going to tell you before we move on to the next question, I have a few students. I have quite a few students that are in bluegrass bands that take voice lessons from me. But they're like whole family, or like, I mean, they got like a whole family band and everything. So I've been learning a lot about bluegrass in general, and I'm
Yeah.
often asking my students, okay, so and they told me that it's very similar to jazz standards. That, like you said, it's like public domain music that
Yeah.
people. And also something that I learned is that a lot of these jazz, some of these bluegrass bands are taking music that is, they're kind of doing covers of music, but they're changing it into a bluegrass approach opposed to the song. I mean, let's say
Right.
Lady Gaga song, and they're doing
Yeah.
it as a bluegrass tune. But there's also a lot of public domain music that is
What
available, just like with jazz standards.
One of the first cover albums ever done was a bluegrass album cover of the Beatles, and it came out in like 1968. It was like a Charles River Valley Boys. It was one of the first records out on Rounder Records, and they took a the most popular Beatles songs of the day and bluegrassified them, and it's great.
That's awesome. It really is. It's, I mean, and I really have an appreciation. I think once you educate yourself on different genres of music, you can definitely appreciate it and have. I mean, you don't have to like it all, but you can appreciate it and
Yeah,
have.
and you brought up a good point. It's like there's standards like in all these different genres, and if you have the ability to understand all these standards like that are belong in all these genres, that means that you as a performer can get through almost any musical situation.
That's right. That's very true, and that's what you want to do. I'm going to pause 1 second because we need to give away another T-shirt. Okay, so let's see. Let me make sure I got a good stopping point here. Okay. So let me show you the shirt first, folks, before we go. So this T-shirt is from Big Ted's House of Drums, and T-shirt. Ted's has some different colors, and just so you guys know, you will get, once if you win these shirts, I will put you in touch with if I don't have the shirt in my possession, which this would be the only one that I wouldn't have it, because this is my shirt. Y'all can have my shirt. Put you in touch with Big Tez, and he will get you a shirt. And he knows that I'm giving his shirts away. So this is a very nice material, cottony, and he has some really cool colors. So I will put you in touch with Big Tez so you can get the T-shirt that you would like in the color that he has available. So I'm not saying he got every color under the rainbow available, but he has some colors, some different variety of colors, and he has that nice logo on the front of it, so you can be supporting around town. My shirt matches my Air Maxes, so I love that shirt. So that's why I would never give it away. So now, what question would you like for me to do? Okay, so Kristen is asking for 10. So let's see here. Almost, hey, Craig, this one is for you. Now. So the question is, who recorded "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" in 1972? Who recorded "You Are the Sunshine of My Life" in 1972? That one is pretty a simple question, but I another cool little tidbit of information that Stevie's inspiration was Ray Charles, so which makes all sense in the world. Oops. Everybody know who wrote that song though, so I gave it away, y'all. But if you don't know who wrote that song, then you ain't doing something right in life. I did give that one away, but if you didn't know who wrote that song, you're not doing something right in life. All right, so let's keep going. All right, let's see where we stopped at. Okay, so we're at my next question for you is, I've noticed you have a few features on the album. So what was it like working with all of them, and who were some of your features?
Well, we have our hometown hero Marcus King. He's playing on Matt Reynolds' song "Hurricane," along with Nikki Sanders. He's a Grammy-winning fiddle player with the Steep Canyon Rangers. Lives up in Asheville. Those guys are located in Brevard, and both Nikki and Marcus were friends of Matt Reynolds, who's that song. That's whose song it is. And so, and then we have Reverend Jeff Mosier singing and playing some banjo.
Ooh.
So on top of that, and some other great, really great banjo players. Charles Wood is a banjo player in town. He's played with Steve Martin and Earl Scruggs. And Carl Lauber, he was on the fourth, I think, recording of Rounder Records. Really, really good banjo player, and Matt Parrington plays mandolin on it, and Sam Crewer plays the upright bass.
Ooh, you got
Nice.
quite a few features on
Yeah.
it. And I did, of course, see that in when I looked at the album when I went online and looked it up. So I did see that on there. Um, so what? Now this is kind of now we kind of going stepping just a little bit away from, but still talking about the business. What would you say the difference is between being a gigger slash cover singer and an original artist? What would be your own personal experience or definition? What would be the difference?
I think is like know the situation when to be either or. Because I know that there's times if I'm playing in a place where people do want to hear my stuff, and there's some times where I'm in a situation where I have a job or a gig where it's a lot more atmospherical, and instead of forcing an agenda, it's like, okay, what does this gig call for? Because if you do this enough, you should be doing any gig that you possibly can, and not necessarily every gig that you're going to have is going to be focused on you. You might be an element of an experience. It's a very small percentile that just get to go out there, and everybody drops everything that they're doing, and they just go and see them. As a working musician, you have to appreciate the ability, to be prepared to gig or to present your own material. Because
Right.
some people do like that. Some people are like, I don't want to hear you sing this Eric Clapton song. I like Eric Clapton, but man, sing one of your songs. It's like,
Right.
okay, and then
Nice.
you know. So I think if you want to be successful, then you should be able to do both. And I think really, some of the most successful artists are great cover artists because they love music. And so it's like the songs that I'm singing when I play, I'm not forcing myself to like learn material that I don't want to learn. Now if I'm doing an event or a wedding or something like that, of course I'll do that. But
Right.
when I'm playing some of these gigs, I'm playing the songs of people that I like if I am in a cover situation.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with you 100% because I also think that it's cool when I go to concerts and I hear an artist cover somebody else's music too. That's really cool. Like, oh wow, that's that I never would have imagined them singing. Like I remember the first time I heard um goodness Tina Turner cover What's Going On. I'm not excuse me, not What's Going On. Let's Stay Together. And I
Oh
was like,
wow.
that's a really cool rendition of that, and it was really cool to hear her. I wasn't, unfortunately, I have not seen her in concert. I didn't get to see her in concert, but I was just doing some research one night, and I was looking up, and one of my it's funny, but one of my favorite artists that covered the song, it was like, oh my God, hearing Aretha Franklin cover "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele. That was the fun. It was almost like comical, but she did because I was like, that's awesome that she picked a more a song from this time period to cover, but she just sounds so unique on it. Like she had of course she put her own Aretha on it, and it was an awesome. And she did this on one of her last performances before she retired. And I thought that was the coolest. So if you guys have never seen Aretha Franklin cover Adele "Rolling in the Deep," you need to go YouTube it because it's a cool performance. And she did something on the show like she was gonna punch somebody. She did this hand gesture on during the performance that was really funny. So that was, but I also understand where you're coming from when you say that people that are cover singers like myself.
But
Yeah,
but but
working on original material.
but, but there's not. But the thing is like some people want to hear. I mean, it's like you bring up Aretha. She was doing cover songs. I mean, for her whole career, she was a great interpreter of song. Like look at what she did with the weight. Her version of the Border song, that Elton John song that she did early in their career, that made the his career. Like
Right.
her covering that, like really put him on the map. So she's really been good about picking songs that she can take and kind of put her spin on them. So there is artistry within that.
Yeah, and you know another since we of course I'm a Aretha fanatic. Another one of my favorite Aretha. I won't say I don't. Of course, it became a cover because she's sang it another time. But when she ended up having to step in for Pavarotti and singing No Dharma, that was like whoa. And when they said she was going to sing it, I was like, how is she going? I wonder how she's going to sing it.
Oh,
She attempt to try to sing it, but she just sang it straight up. Aretha sang it. She took it to church and sang it like Aretha sings it, and that was like one of the most like that because my background, of
yeah,
course,
I was
as
gonna say. I was gonna say, how did that affect you as an opera with your background? I'm gonna turn around the table and ask you some questions because I don't know if people know about your operatic background, but that must have been a game changer.
it was Charles. It really was. And I remember when I heard it, I was like, I wonder can I sing some other stuff? I was like,
Yeah.
maybe that was the wheel started turning for me. They really did because I had gotten to a point in my opera career where I was like, I like this, but there's other things that I have interest in as well. So it really was a game changer for me. And Aretha, of course, is a game changer for me. Period. But
No.
that took it to a whole nother level when
Yeah,
I.
because that's just a rarity. That's someone of. I mean, that can cover all the things that she did, or to be able to sing something like that, and then
Right,
all the stuff from church, and then everything in between.
right, literally. All right, let me get on down because I don't want us to get too far behind with our questions because I definitely want to get all these questions covered tonight, especially our COVID section. So, what advice would you give someone who wants to become a musician or an artist?
Well, I would say whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to become a musician, is like study it as best as you can. Like these things that we're talking about, watching these videos, and looking at your heroes, seeing what they did, find out who your heroes are.
Right,
Don't just take your heroes or people at face value. Like figure out, how they got to where they got.
right,
Because music is a big layer of things. It's like a big onion. So you can keep going to the source. Because there's similarities that we're talking between all these different genres and stuff like that. So just dive in and study and play and meet as many people as you can.
right. That's great advice. I don't have any piggyback for that. I mean that's about as raw and cut as it's gonna get. Oh yes. All right. So we are going to do quickly before we go into our COVID section. Right quick, Charles. We're gonna give away another T-shirt.
All right.
All right. So you said number 6. All right. Yeah. All right. So again, folks, these are T-shirts that I've collected over the last couple months since we started the show. So I am giving away this T-shirt was given to me, but I think that it's important to. I just want to say this before I show them. I think it's very important to. T-shirts are walking advertisement. I said that in my post when I posted tonight's show. And so I want to encourage people, send us T-shirts. I mean, if you got them made up, send us T-shirts because we're giving these T-shirts away to some people who may not even know that your business exists. And if they're wearing it, then they may know they may be around other people who don't know that your business exists as well. So don't be a hoarder of the T-shirts. I give my T-shirts away all the time because they're walking advertisement. You don't know how many times I've seen people with T-shirts on and said, "Oh, that's a cool T-shirt. Where'd you get that from?" Or just, admire someone's T-shirt because it may have cool colors on it or whatever the case may be. So don't be a T-shirt hoarder. Give those T-shirts away. Right, especially right now. You need to give some T-shirts away because everybody needs to know about your business so you can get back out there and get back in full swing. So we have Crab to Go, which is one of our sponsors. They gave me this cool, and I love this shirt. I'm sad to part with it because I really like it because it's got this cool little like nice little. I ain't gonna rub it on my face because I don't want to get makeup on. But it's got this cool little cool feel. I don't know. It's just got a cool feeling to it. I don't know.
Now,
I like
where are they at?
it. Huh?
Where are they at? Where are they located?
Go is it is literally Crab to Go, and what they do is that you can they I can get you their information, but they're here out of the Upstate, and they will be seen at like festivals, outdoor events, and things of that nature. But they also take orders online. They post their own Facebook under Crab to Go, and they take orders. I actually got my I love seafood, so I had Crab to Go for my birthday, and it was stupendous. It was excellent because I
Yeah,
love. I talked about it because they had great packaging and the food was just the bomb. And the packaging is important to me because I don't want crab juice everywhere. So the packaging was the bomb. And the
no, that's
food,
awesome.
they really take pride in their product. So this is Crab to Go, and they are on Facebook, Charles. So if you look them up, just look up Crab to Go, and that's the number two, Crab to Go. So this is a T-shirt we're giving away, folks. Let me go to my question here. And Charles, I'll send you the information I'll text it to you also.
You will have a celebratory meal.
All right. So the question for the question for the T-shirt is which song by wait a minute. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not giving away nothing. Which song by the Temptations isn't written by Smokey Robinson nor Norman Whitfield? So which song? And I ain't giving y'all no more clues because I'm terrible at giving away clues. I just tell you what the answer is. So I'm gonna read that again. Which song by the Temptations isn't written by Smokey Robinson nor Norman Whitfield? What is the answer? Oh, okay. I'm just curious. I didn't know. I'm not gonna read it. I'm not gonna read it. I didn't know that question. So yeah, good luck with y'all figuring that one out. No clues for me. I'm gonna be quiet. All right, so let's get into our COVID section. So Charles, what were some of the first thoughts that entered your mind when performances started being canceled due to COVID?
Oh, I was like, well, what are we gonna do?
Right.
It's like because I always told my parents, I was like, well, as long as people get together, I always have a job. And now people couldn't get together.
That's right.
Um, so it was like, but I mean, that was the first thought because no one was really thinking about a pandemic,
Right.
and being in lockdown. This is something that hasn't happened in 100 years. Um,
Right.
you quickly had to turn around and start looking at things, you know, more try to get money coming in and less going out, in every situation. It's like
Right.
so, a lot of peanut butter, a lot of rice, a lot of beans.
Hey, as long as you still living, you still look good. That's all that matters. It was like the college starter pack all over again, right?
Yeah, well, man, I love to cook. I know you love food, and it was a lot of that. But by the like week 8, I got tired of my cooking.
Right. Yeah,
You
that's right.
know, so I was looking forward to anything like crab to go, just to
Right.
mention it.
Listen, dude,
I hope they're watching now, so they'll send us multiple pounds of crab because we're doing such a good job, you know, putting their
that's,
product into the show.
that's a good plug though to try hint try to get it
Yeah.
right. That would have been nice to have crab and shrimp in quarantine every day. That would have been great. But I agree with you. I got tired of. I think we all probably cooked ourselves out of cooking for the year. Like it was like, oh, I'm tired of
But
cooking.
I will tell you one thing that's very interesting though is like because I grew up like my mom's from Winsboro, South Carolina, so there's a lot of country cooking. So it's like with the grits and the beans and stuff like that. It's like I had so much of a great appreciation of that food and sustaining on that kind of thing, and that's where it came from.
That's right.
So I really got that mindset and I got it and I understood why I grew up with it.
Right.
You
It's
know.
to say some beans and some fat back meat and some corn and some cornbread.
Yeah.
And you might be all right. He used to tell me all the time. That's what we grew up on. So
Yeah, I'll make you some beans sometime. They're famous.
Yeah, I'm hitting up with the pasta. That's that was our family staple with pasta.
My Amanda, what I want to call you stage manager all the time, production manager, because I don't have a stage. I want to get on stage, y'all. But my production manager is Italian, right?
Yes.
Yoruba heritage, and she said it was pasta. We were talking about pinto beans, and she was eating pasta.
So well, that's another,
that's some pasta.
That's flour, eggs,
Yep.
And then whatever great, we have gravy. Different people have different things for gravy.
That's very true.
And sometimes cooks for tomatoes out of the garden.
But I think grits is the equalizer. Is like in the South, is like everybody eats grit. But my we call it hominy, and then it was like that was
the straight hominy.
Yeah.
Oh.
He'll
bring me back for a food episode.
I know, right? We'll talk about how to survive during COVID off of country cooking. Yeah.
Well, it was nice and time consuming because if you do cook multiple meals and clean up after it, it's like it takes a lot.
Right. That's very true. All right, let's keep going because we don't want all these questions answered. So, how do you feel about the drive-in concerts? And we've talked about so we already talked about the live feeds that everybody's doing. But do you think that both of those drive-in concerts and live feeds will be a temporary fix for the music industry till we get through the pandemic? Do you think that will help kind of bridge the gap?
I think it will, and the Marcus King Trio is out, doing one right now, and I've been talking to those guys, and just like everything, there's some places that are really doing a good job and prepared and set up for it, and some people are doing a lot of things on the fly. But I think overall, I think it's a really good experience, and it's unique and different. I know some other people that are doing, marina shows and stuff like that, right, where like a band will play on a barge, and so it is a way, and it does at least satisfy, I would say, a little bit of a craving, but it's not the thing that people want, where it's like a room full of people in a band,
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's, and I definitely think that's going to be the thing that keeps people. I mean, they got the thing out now. I don't know if you've been watching the verses where they are kind of going in and putting some of the artists against another artist, but they're playing their music, and people are like the other week, they had Brandy Norwood and Monica, which everybody just calls Brandy, but they have Brandy and Monica on there, and it was like 1.2 million people viewed this versus. That's crazy. Like they broke a record for the most amount of people to watch a actual live online. Like they broke the record for it. It was crazy.
Well, I think that people are in tune with that. As long as the sound and audio, the audio and visual stuff is good, then I think then I think that's going to be another positive thing too. I think people might have gotten tired of just everybody live streaming on their phone, where now the bar has been set, and people can actually go into studios and produce videos and things like that, or produce live stream things that are done of good quality.
Right. And it's so funny you said that. You're exactly right. But it's funny, you would think like more local people would be using phones and their equipment, not necessarily. But it was so funny when that show first started that I'm referring to, Versus, and I seen a couple of other celebrities going live on their own page, and then they were like struggling with like trying to use like phones and not really sufficient.
Some of my heroes.
Right. I'm like, now I know, I can see someone that's, low, but these artists that are signed, they had to step their game up. So there was a couple of them that was a little raggedy, or either I think people were trying to do too. I also saw people were trying to do too much, like it was a live performance, like trying to have a whole. I'm like, you got to go on a sound stage, like really go in full blown. If you're going to do that, you can't be in your house trying to to have a whole band in the house. And so it was just super distorted. So it was a couple that were pretty rough.
some of the ones that I saw that seem to have a consistent issue is somebody, just on a phone and they're singing and playing piano. Because there's so many things going on, like frequency and sound wise and dynamically,
Right.
that there was like, I'm talking like some of my heroes that were having like, issues with their own like, live stream stuff. And like,
Right.
it's like,
Like, what are you doing?
you got people, you
Supposed
know,
to do a test on this before you did this live. You know that, right?
yeah.
So I'm gonna move on to our next question. This question is so very important. Um, and I'm glad I thought of this question when I was sitting down writing questions to ask you. Do you feel that musicians have been left out during this pandemic as far as assistance from the government is concerned, or assistance in general?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking earlier, there was somebody about the CARES Act. I mean, there's other countries that have already passed legislation, supporting, artists and small music venues, and there hasn't been really anything done. I've heard, Chuck Schumer and, talking to some other, industry people about it, but, I don't really see. I see that as such a low item of importance on their, the whole scheme of things, that we're going to end up losing a lot of venues. And just like in the recession, it's like that was a time, that lost a lot of bands that were traveling and growing at that time. And so it's like, there's bands that were ended during that time, and there's bands I know like right now that have broken up or going on hiatus because of this. And
Right.
if you were, making your living, going from town to town, you can't do that right now. It's like, the way South Carolina is right now with the occupancy there, it's tough, but it's still open, so there still is possibility of work. There's other places where, people can't do anything.
Right. And I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. And I hope there's not people out here that disagree with me, but I just feel like music has been for me. I can't say it, but I feel like it is. I think it's universal. It's just the soundtrack to life. So I'm very puzzled at why there was not more assistance. It just kind of we just and I say we because we're a community. I feel like we were just left kind of like dead in the water. Like it was just kind of like, well, that I heard talk of things and I saw things that were supposed to become a option or come to pass, so to speak. But I never really saw anything formed from it. And, there, like you said, there's people that are holding on for dear life. And it's really sad because when all this is over, and we aren't the only community that will have to. And I don't want to single us out from other people, but we are the only community that will have to rebuild. But we will have to rebuild, and it's really sad because as much influence as music has on life, I mean, when the people have events, they're always saying there needs to be music. There's music for everything. Like I can just sit here and name a list of things that music is. So I'm like, how did you just forget about us?
Well, and if you look at like, athletics had to stop, and there's so much more infrastructure and things set up for, and I love sports, and I think it's important, but it's definitely outweighs the monetarily in infrastructure compared to like musicians and artists.
Right.
There, and it starts at a school level, it starts at an education level. It's like, sometimes people want to cut art before they cut,
Exactly.
other thing. And it's just like, so we have to really, look at this stuff and make sure that we, have music in the school, and we have, people like you teaching, and then, maybe you go and visit a school and talk to them, and tell them about what you do, so they know that, you can be successful as a musician. Because I think a lot of times people are forced to have, multiple jobs in order, to fulfill, their want and desire. And there should be musicians on every level. There should be people that play around in an area and those that travel and those that play at stadiums, it is, to look like a baseball, there should be, minor league, teams and systems like that. And then the big leagues and stuff like that.
Right.
But, as of yet, no one has stepped up and really helped us in that way. I was talking to somebody else today. They just updated a copyright law from like the late 1800s recently, so it's like that's how far behind they are. And a lot of times in the music business it is the actual musician and the people that work on it that are pushed the hardest and benefit the least.
Right. And I was going to say, you mentioned about, and we're going to go over just a few minutes because I have one more question to ask you after this one. But I did want to say that you made a comment about music being back in schools during this, and I remember when I was going back to school, in my mind I was like, are they going to even start music back in school? Like, are they just going to say, you know what, that's one less person to have here. These are two, 3 or 4 less people we got to have at the school. And then right now we're trying to save money and put it towards this and get this. So, but they were so adamant at the school I teach at about keeping music there. And they were very adamant about keeping music there and just being like, be creative. Like, so I really had to think outside of the box to teach because, of course, things have changed in the school classroom as far as interaction and some of the things that we could do before. But it's really helped me to grow as a teacher because
Amen.
Because everything that you do, there are some things that you do as a teacher that are, kind of like, okay, well, this is all the little kids like this, let's do this. But now I've had to become very creative, and it's also given me a chance to teach children. I think something that I may have overlooked when I started last year is that I was teaching them music, but I didn't teach them the fundamentals of music, the theory. So we're really able to get into that this year. And they're excited about it, but they're also like, oh, Miss Jamie, like, this is hard, are you serious? We got to take a test? Like, I've gotten that, like, every day. I thought you was joking. I'm like, no, we have a test. We got a quiz today. Like, seriously, there's no musical chairs today. There's no
Yeah.
We're taking the quiz. So I think that it's something. It's a new experience for all of us. But I really am appreciative that they kept the music, and I teach at Cambridge Academy, so they really pushed for us to keep music there, and I really appreciate that about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, kudos to them and kudos for teaching music theory at that young of an age. I really excelled in math, and there wasn't any music theory. And I think if I would have gotten that, I play, but it's not like, that would have been nice to have a music theory class. Who knows? I might have been a musician. Okay.
All right, so I got one more question for you. I think I got one more. I think I asked, gotten past the this question kind of ties in together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump down here, and say that what do you feel like the future holds for you as a singer or songwriter, and what can we expect? Can we expect an album release party or performance anytime soon, or what's your plans for the future?
Well, so the album's going to come out on Tuesday, September 15th, and I'm going to do something at Smiley. So if you feel like coming by, Jamie, please do.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, but we'll get you. But so that was the day. I guess typically in the music world they release stuff they like to release stuff on Tuesdays, and that fits perfectly with my Tuesday gig at Smiley's.
Right.
So I'm making this Tuesday about the focus of the release. And as far as the future, I have the group the Shady Recruits, and we're in the studio and working on some new material to follow up the album that we did earlier this year. And the plan for me is with that band and myself is to release more singles, because it seems like that's where the industry is moving. Like
Right.
this will be the last time, probably for a while, I release a group of songs
Right.
because the way that all the different platforms work, you promote one at a time.
That's
You know
right.
that seems to be the cool thing, and so I would love to get into a point of releasing one track a month,
Right.
and then have it, from different bands and different collaborations and stuff like that. That would be what I would like to do. Um, since I have the ability to create it and to put it out with a label.
Right. The industry. I'm gonna say this: industry is changed a lot. People don't have to work as hard as they used to anymore. And when it comes down to the aspect of an album, because remember back in the '90s, they were putting out 18-song albums. Like
No,
you get an album that's got 18 songs, double booklet on,
yeah,
double
and
double stack CD case. Now you drop one single and ride off of it for the whole year. It's like,
yeah.
oh,
I mean, look at Kanye. I think he had, like, what was it, a seven song. It's like 23 minutes long, but it's still, the Grammy associate considers that an album.
right.
You know, and Kanye is a pretty smart dude when it comes.
It's pretty smart. That's
He
he
made
is
music
smart.
promotion.
Definitely in the music aspect.
Yeah, I will say that.
So that's it, Charles. I don't have any more questions for you.
Yeah.
So tell me one more time, when are you doing? What date is that going to be at Smiley's where you're going to be doing your album release?
So on September 15th, that's when it goes out to Apple and Spotify and the world and all that. And so since September 15th is a Tuesday, we're gonna do that day at Smiley's. And toward I've been playing 7 to 10, because of the COVID hour. So I'm going to do the last half of the evening dedicated to playing some of those songs, and then that style of music. So it'll be like a good old Tuesday from the past where I get to, jam with a bluegrass band.
Awesome. Now, I always give my guests the opportunity to do their plugs here on the show. So let us know where we can find you at. Let us know
Yeah, I,
how you get. Tell us
I,
what you got on.
I'd say, go if you're on Apple or Spotify, I guess, follow me or like me. There's on Spotify, there's a written by Charles Hedgepath playlist. It's got all my original stuff, and there you can find all the different albums that I've done. There's also the Shady Recruits, like I mentioned. There's the Bad Pokes. That's another band that I'm in, and then just regular old CharlesHedgepath.com.
Awesome. Well, Charles, I'm gonna give away this last T-shirt right quick before we
All
sign.
right. I hope I win.
All right, so this is the T-shirt. It's Krakatoa Coffee Company. Uh,
Now,
Craig, we know that we know you're the only person left on here. So, to answer the question, so we are going to give you this T-shirt. This is a literal giveaway. So, Craig, this is Krakatoa Coffee Company T-shirt, and we will be putting a package together to send you all your T-shirts. Thank you, Craig, for always tuning in and being a part of the show and help keeping the energy up. We appreciate it. I don't know why these people letting all these good T-shirts go. But so we'll get those. I'll get in touch with you and we'll get those out to you. Thank you so very much, Charles. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. It was an awesome conversation about music and your projects and just entertainment in general. I really appreciate you taking time out your schedule because I know you got a lot of ducks lined up right now. A lot of stuff going on.
yeah. Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for singing on the album too. So if you guys like Jamie's show, like, listen to the album too, because she's singing on it as well. So.
Most definitely, I enjoyed it. It was a awesome opportunity and a cool experience. So I appreciate you asking me to come and be part of it, and that means a lot to me. At this time, I'd also like to thank our viewers for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Keep getting the word out there and let people know that we're doing this. We're not going anywhere. So if you're sitting at home saying, "I wish you would stop doing it," we're not going to stop doing it. We're going to keep doing it because we're going to keep trying to keep people's spirits up and just keeping businesses in the forefront. People need that right now. So I hope you can understand where our intentions are coming from and what we're trying to do here with the show. So if you know somebody that you want to get out there and are their businesses suffering now and you want to get them on the show so they can talk about their experience with COVID, let me know. You can contact us at livewithjamiewright@gmail.com. So that's what we're here for, to try to help keep the community rocking and rolling. I also want to shout another big thank you to Kristen, the manager, and also our sponsors. We have Krakatoa Coffee Company, Vurchoo Apparel, Big Ted's House of Drums, Bye Bye Belly, and Paw Alkaline Water, Upstate Graphics and Imaging, Proud to Go, Custom Creations by Lesley. Thank you so much, and folks, be sure to tune in next week. We'll have our special guest, Gina Bridges, who will be discussing community, giving back, and the effect COVID has had on the community. So make sure you tune in on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for Live with Jamie Wright. And again, thank you so much, Charles. We appreciate it. Thank you, Craig, for tuning in and winning all of our t-shirts. and we just appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. It means a lot to us. We appreciate it. So we will see. I'm gonna see you soon. We're gonna get Charles back on the show. He got some another project up his sleeve, so we'll plan on getting you back on. Hopefully, we can discuss getting you back on in November. So I'll be in touch with you about that. All right, stay healthy and keep doing your thing. I'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you, Jamie.
All right, bye-bye.